I'm Beth Golding with Remax Advantage. I'm here with Amy with PRMI, and today we're talking all about bridge loans. Thanks
So
for
happy
joining
to
me
be
today,
here.
Amy.
I'm well. Thanks for the invite. I'm excited to be here. This is such a great product. I want to tell everybody about it.
I know. And, it's just that great time of year, with the spring market and home sellers thinking about moving and just trying to make their lives much easier. So excited to, talk all about it. Okay, so the first step is knowing your equity. So we're talking about the listing appointment. So we get a phone call from my home seller and they're talking about buying another house. My very first step is scheduling that appointment, meeting them at the house, talk to them about their next move, go through the house, take some pictures so I can really just hone in on the property condition. So I can get a nice free market analysis together for them so they can bring that to the lender and they can move forward with the next step of the process. So do you want to talk a little bit about that and how that works?
Absolutely. Your market analysis is everything. You're the expert in the area. You know what houses are selling for, what it takes to sell a house. And then you bring that to me, or the client brings that to me, because that's going to help me determine exactly how much they can borrow through the bridge loan. Knowing the equity position of a client is the foundation of me being able to tell them, this is how much money I can give to you in this bridge loan so that they can make an educated decision as to whether the timing is right to move or where else they might have to pull some money from to make up the difference that maybe the bridge loan can or cannot give them.
Right. And that's the best part. It's, most people right now have equity in their home, since equity, especially, in our current market, has just been going up year after year after year. So being able to tap into that equity is awesome. So just to talk a little bit about, what type of a person that this can help out is it's especially helpful for families relocating for work or buyers who know that they're going after something very specific, like a waterfront home or something in a high demand area. And they just need to move quickly when the perfect house hits the market.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the bridge loan starts with you, more or less, and me partnering, where I say it starts with you, because again, you're going to bring together that fair market value so that you're going to be able to help me determine what target number I'm using for that market value, because you know the market better than I do.
Absolutely. And it's just setting our client up for success from the very beginning. Okay. So when we talk about bridging the gap and funding our fixes and, unlocking the cash to maximize your home sale as a home seller, when they access their equity up front, they can invest in updates or move out before they have to sell their house. So a clean, staged, empty home shows so much better, and often resulting in higher offers and, better price at the end of the day. So when the bridge loan comes into play, how does that work with funding your fixes on your home when you're trying to sell it in the mix?
Great question. How it will work is the bridge loan product closes on the day that you purchase your new house, meaning that all funds that I can give to you will be transferred into your bank account or to the title company directly on the day of closing. And that number is going to be determined according to what liens you might currently have on your house. And again, to go back to that fair market value. But we can give up to, literally, if you have the equity, up to $35,000 just in home prepping costs. In addition to that, we can also give you up to $5,000 worth of moving expenses. So it doesn't just bridge the gap for down payment on the new house, but it also bridges the gap with helping you get the most money for your house that you're selling with the preparation. It also helps you with the moving expenses if you have them, as well as it can cover up to 6 months of your mortgage payment on that house currently, so that you're not juggling all of these different payments as you transition into the new house.
It's actually a phenomenal product. It just makes things so much easier. So this has been a lifesaver for sellers who want to do a few repairs and upgrades before going live on the market, and also for downsizers. So it can be people that aren't even just upgrading, people that are downsizing. Doesn't matter what the value of the next house is, and it just helps them increase the profits on their current home. And not only that, their dogs, their people, their everything is going to be out of their house. So they don't have to worry about back to back to back to back showings, especially in our market, which is still very, very competitive. We still have a housing shortage, which makes this whole process just absolutely perfect. So how does that help with accessing equity?
You actually said something that I want to touch more about. And you said, we'll help a client purchase a house going non-contingent. And I
Yes.
think you can go into talking more about what that means. But in this market, since it is a seller's market, being able to put in an offer that's non-contingent it will beat out any other offer that has those contingencies. So maybe if you want to talk about what that means a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. If I am a home buyer and I see this house, and of course it's the best house in the neighborhood because I want it, right? But so is everybody else. So when we're faced with these situations, just because of limited inventory, and I have a house to sell, being able to use this bridge loan to say that I don't have to sell my house to buy your house really gives home buyers a huge edge. So, working with a non-contingent offer with the bridge loan, my offer to be accepted and actually in the running with other offers is just potentially essential in being able to get a home faster than trying to find the home seller that will accept a home sale contingency. And in most cases, sellers that will accept a home sale contingency are the sellers that you might have a house that's either overpriced or might not be in the best condition and it's sitting on the market. Most houses right now in our current market that sit, there's a reason. So we want to give these home buyers that have a house to sell, we want them to be able to buy good houses. So this bridge loan really helps them buy good houses. So how does it help them purchase their next home without selling first?
Well, that's exactly what it does. It allows them to purchase their next house without selling the first one first, which it allows a buyer to become a stronger buyer with more leverage, which that leverage is everything also when you're buying because it will help you get the right house for the right price.
Yeah, it's been, tough when you work with those, home buyers that they just feel like they're putting in offer after offer with a home sale contingency and they just lose every single time. And then usually what happens is they just wind up feeling so beat up as they just give up on the process and just stay where they're at, or they rent their house and buy another house, which can potentially be a possibility too. Which of course, that's why I love working with you, Amy, because I feel like when you work with these home buyers, you're talking about all the options up front. Like we're talking about the bridge loans. We're also talking about what a potential lease, can do on their house as far as, renting it out. So the mortgage isn't held against them and they're still able to buy their next house just in a different manner. And then once you give that education, it's all about the client making the right decision for them. So that's one of the awesome reasons why I love working with you, that you have that process with them up front.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not just one product that we'll discuss. We'll discuss them all.
Mm-hmm.
But in addition, what also I love about the bridge loan too is, if you can access the equity that you have in your current house and put maybe a larger down payment on the new house, it helps balance out where rates are today, for example. Not to go into rates, but obviously we know they're a little bit higher than where they were just 3 years ago. But your equity position is tremendously higher too. So why not tap into that equity, put a larger down payment on the new house at unfortunately the higher rate, but that higher rate is going to be negated because you're putting substantially much more down. So
Absolutely.
it's the bridge loan is a win-win across all tables, I think.
I think so too. And that's a very good point that with the home prices going up, being able to put a larger down payment from the house that you just sold, that you're getting the benefit of the house being worth more money. If you take that and you put it down in your next one and you are upsizing, it really helps to be able to get into that next house because of that larger down payment from the equity from your current home. So it's all connected.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Good. Okay, so no upfront costs. Yes, please.
Yeah, sign me up.
Yes. So can you talk a little bit about the bridge loan and how it just really helps make not only the transition easier, but how it helps things just to be so much more affordable when you're going through the process, and like payments and how it works and costs, etc.
Absolutely. So the bridge loan is super unique because any of the closing costs that are associated with it, and closing costs in a sense of we can set aside 6 months of your mortgage payment. We can set aside money for house prep or moving expenses. So those are also, I'm going to say, costs. Those are all rolled into the loan. So you're not putting out any money up front. That'll come out of the proceeds of the loan on the day of closing. So you're not fronting any checks. Moving can be expensive. So let us eliminate some of those costs for you with the bridge loan.
Yeah, and I can remember the first time that, I was working with the new bridge loans, because the bridge loans existed years ago and they're just making a comeback, which we're all very happy about because it is helping our home buyer sellers navigate the market. So the first time that I reached out to you just to ask some questions, I was like, okay, so how much money do they have to bring to the table? Do you remember that conversation?
Absolutely. I do. Because you asked me like 3 times, I'm sorry,
Yes.
how much?
And I'm like,
And I
what?
was like, zero,
It was great.
zero.
Yeah. And then we had our client on three-way as well. So,
Mhm.
he got that added extra benefit of just like letting it register for him too. Like
Right.
in your case, you do not need to bring any money to the table. Now, there are potentially, some people that we could work with that, with that 75% loan to value, they may not have everything that they need for their transition. Can you talk about that a little bit, and maybe some other things they can tap into, or how they can make that work for themselves when, just their equity doesn't cover everything?
Absolutely. So obviously with any loan, there are limitations. And what I mean by that is this bridge loan product will go up to a combined loan to value of 75% of what your house is worth. So again, we would go back to the fair market value that Beth has given to you. We would multiply that by 75%. And then from there, we would deduct any mortgages that you currently hold. Like, for example, your first mortgage. Once we have that deducted, then the difference is a great start as to how much money we can give to you in this bridge loan product. There are things to take into consideration, but that's the great starting point, is that 75%. And then from there, we just allows you to move forward with the least amount of cash coming out of pocket. And what I mean by out of pocket, your checking account, your savings account, your 401ks, your retirement on the bridge loan product or on the equity. So that's a win as well. You don't have to pay income taxes on money that you pull out of your retirement account.
Yeah. So there's potentially other monies that you may be able to tap into to help, like supplement that, bridge loan, in case the current amount of money that you can get from your house does not cover everything, which, as we talked about, was a down payment, closing costs, 6 months of their current loan, potentially moving costs, and repairs or updates to their current home in order to sell it. So if it doesn't cover everything, there are still options so that they can supplement that, but they can still tap into their equity. That's why we do that work up front, right? That's why we get our market analysis.
Exactly it.
That's why you run the numbers for them and let them know what to expect. And then if they don't have any other funds to tap into, that's when you could potentially explore like a rental situation on their current home to help offset those costs until maybe in the future they may gather more equity, and then they might be able to actually sell it in the future to make it happen. So there's just so many options out there, which, like I said, is the best part about doing that work up front.
100%. And something, a key part of this bridge loan is, you have other options to maybe pull money out to help you with the down payment, but you have to be careful to make sure that any of the money that you pull out doesn't impact something that we call your debt to income ratio, meaning that are you pulling money from a certain place and now there's going to be a payment to that? So now that new payment is going to have to be taken into consideration on your new financing for a new house, where the bridge loan product is fantastic because we don't have to take into consideration a mortgage payment for that bridge loan because it's paid in full as soon as you pay off your house, nor do we have to take into consideration your current mortgage payment. So that helps clients potentially buy more of a house if that's what they want to do, because we can negate their current monthly outlay with their mortgages now.
Right. So their current mortgage will not be counted against them. They were going to sell their house after settlement. So awesome. So great. I love
Yeah.
it.
Seamless.
Seamless. Yes. Okay. So we've been talking about the bridge loan and how it's that seamless move for buyers. It makes moving a breeze. So one of the big things about this, it just helps them to avoid the hassle of rushed packing, dual closings, temporary housing. We've worked with home sellers before that have gone, contingent on the sale of their house. And there's so many things that, they need to keep in mind, like timing is so important. So if they're in state working with the same agent for their purchase and their sale of their home, or just with a really trusted agent on the other side that they can coordinate with to make that happen. But they're literally, selling their house, getting their money in their bank account. Days later, they're buying their new house. Sometimes they have all of their belongings in a pod or in a moving truck, sitting there in the driveway, waiting for settlement to happen. Sometimes they have to move in with their in-laws, or, there's so many things.
We've seen it all, haven't
We've
we?
seen it
We've
all.
seen it all.
So these are the things that, the bridge loan helps to avoid, including their family, potential pets, potential
Kids.
whatever, back-to-back showings. You don't have to worry about relocating your family, your cat. We've had people take their cat and put their cat in a cage and put it in the back of their car every single time that they have a showing, or for hours, or take it and relocate it. It's a lot. So to be able to avoid all of that is absolutely amazing.
Peace of mind is worth everything, I think. If you have somebody that's controlling both ends, it gives you that peace of mind. You're
Yeah.
not, like you're talking about these horror stories where the moving truck is sitting in a driveway. It's because somebody, that was buying that particular house, their closing didn't go so well. So they didn't have funds to purchase this house. So the moving truck is sitting there, and, this just makes it extremely seamless, because the day of closing, all that money for your down payment goes into either your bank account or directly to the title company. So you're not waiting for somebody else to get you the money, or sell their house to get you the money. We're controlling everything there.
Yeah. And as long as you have that equity in your current home to be able to do that, you're going to get a check that same day too, which is going to allow you to have those money for the moving costs, for potential repairs or updates to your house. So it's just every step of the way just helps you get toward that next goal. And then you're moved. So if your kids are in a new school zone, in late August now, right? Or anything else like that, like if you have a deadline, if your new job is beginning, if you're getting relocated because of a job, all of those different scenarios, being able to do this and move first is really just helping us on the front end. And then we just have to, work on the back end. But, I'll tell you, the clients that I'm working with now, as they were going through their purchasing process, what we were doing is we were getting, contractors in their house. We were getting contractor estimates. We were being very specific with these contractors and telling them what the situation is for these clients. So we're saying, hey, we're on a timeline. We definitely want an estimate, but we're telling you right now, this is our timeline. This is our target market date. This is when the repairs need to be done by. And of course, nothing's perfect or set in stone. But if you have that set all up front, you're going to have less problems after settlement. So now settlement's happened. We've talked to the contractor. We know when they're moving out. We know when the start date is for this contractor. We already have a date that they're going to finish. We already have a target listing date. The house is already on the market and the MLS is coming soon. From day one, we had this plan set, and these guys are good to go. They're not stressed out. They know what their plan is. And that's just the brilliance of this loan.
Agreed. Everything you just laid out, it's just aligning with the proper partners. You as the agent, me as the loan officer, and we just have to, if you're aligned with the perfect partnership, buying a new house should be pretty seamless and not stressful.
Absolutely. And then I had a great agent that I have a relationship with in North Carolina that took care of their purchase. So we know each other very well. We were on Zoom meetings all together. I was making introductions, and that was just so great.
So good.
Awesome. So Amy, thank you so much for joining me today. If a home seller / buyer would like to reach out to you and get started with this process, would you mind telling them how to reach out to you? And I'll also
No,
put it in
please,
comments
always
and
feel free to reach out.
descriptions. Yeah.
I can be reached in many different avenues. Email, first and foremost, is afichter. It's my initial Amy of Amy, A Fichter, Fichter at primeres.com. That's PRIMERES.com. Or my cell. You can reach me on that, either text message or phone.
Nice. And then, of course, you're on all the socials and all the things. So there's
I
no
am on
wrong way
them.
to reach out to you.
You can probably find me on the socials, but you know,
Awesome. Well, thanks again so much. I appreciate it. I can't wait to get this awesome information out to the world so we can help more people make a seamless transition.
excellent. I'm here to help. Thanks, Beth.
Thanks.